How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Box to Box. We've got a massive game coming up this Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, a rare 3 p.m. kickoff, but off the back of the 3-0 loss to Crystal Palace, this game has extra impetus behind it. Massive game for Arsenal, but also a massive game for Brighton Football Club, who over the last 7 games, I believe, have lost 6 and only drawn 1.
Oh, God.
I've got Ryan with me here. He's already started laughing.
Long day.
They got Ryan, though. You've seen Ryan before on the channel. He was on Box to Box earlier this season. He has got his own channel, TSR. Make sure you guys subscribe to that, link in the description below. And he's also part of the Seagull socials too, which we put in the title. Ryan, thanks for coming down.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me on again.
I see you started the drinks early.
Yeah, only because Cecil bought it, so he didn't buy us anything else, unfortunately. But he's looking at me now.
Cecil, where's that food at?
But no, mate, I've got to be honest. I think last time I come on, I was really confident. Like, yeah, Brighton are doing well, feeling like we could even push Europe, but. Yeah, now seven games in a row now where we haven't won a game. 6 of those losses, no goal against Norwich.
And Norwich is at home, right?
Yeah, at home. Yeah, it's not looking good at the minute. I can't lie.
Where did it all change though? Because when we spoke earlier in the season, there was a lot more optimism, and not just from Brighton fans. I remember going into the season, Graham Potter was held in high regard, and over the last couple of years, the football Brighton have been playing at the back, sticking to that format. He had a lot of credit for it. Brighton have got a lot of credit for it. Where has it unravelled this season?
I think it sounds really silly because I say this a lot, and when we sold Dan Burn, a lot changed, and it's really silly saying you missed someone that wasn't even your best player at the time. At the end of the day, 13 mil is a good price to get for someone that's not your best player. But we've lost a versatile player, someone that can play every position in the back three and can also play on the left. Yeah. Now we've got a defender in Lewis Dunk who I like a lot, but we've got obviously sold Ben White to you. Now no Dan Burn, and Adam Webster's out for a long time.
You haven't got that fluidity anymore.
There's no transition at all. So we literally have to play Cucurella at centre back now, and he's obviously a 5'7" left back. So we've got a bit of a problem where we can't really use our fullbacks in Lamptey and Cucurella as we used to, and we've suffered for it big time. Yeah. And you only have to watch the last few games. I mean, to be fair, at Norwich we had 30 odd shots. But before that, we weren't even creating chances. But yeah, still, same conversation as October. We can't put the ball in the back of the net, and that's the most Brighton thing I can say at the minute.
Is this something that you saw coming in terms of player sales? Obviously, the credit you've got over the last couple of years. When clubs that are mid-table or lower end of the table get credit, players start coming into the limelight. We picked up Ben White in the summer. You talked about a couple more players you've lost. As a Brighton fan, Ryan, I'm sure you expect to sell players once they achieve a certain level.
For sure.
Is it more so the recruitment of the back end of it?
Yeah, I think obviously I said we sold Burn, sold White. That's 63 million. Where's that 63 million gone?
That's what I was gonna ask,
obviously we've bought a few young players, right? And I get the whole process of building these players up, signing 18-year-olds who wonder kids. It's great. But it means that we're going to suffer in the short term, and that's what we're sort of suffering at the minute. We go into January. We need a striker so badly. We signed Dennis Undav, who's a 25-year-old centre forward from Belgium. Looks pretty good. Got a decent track record in Belgium, but can he do that in the Prem? I mean, I'm not getting on his back, obviously, but
yet to see. Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, and that's the sort of trend for particularly lower end sort of teams in the Prem. I think it's not just Brighton. You've got that difficult situation where you can't attract like Darwin Núñez, who we wanted so badly, and obviously now he's firing goals in the Champions League. So it's like
we're linked to him now.
Yeah, exactly, and he's going to be on that next level. And Núñez, to be fair, obviously he made the right decision in not signing for us. But we've got that tricky situation where we can't attract that next level, but we also need to attract better than what we're getting. And I think we're really, really suffering at the minute.
Are you running the risk of losing Graham Potter at a time when you really can't afford to lose him? I mean, he's had an awful lot of credit. It doesn't sound like you're putting any of this decline onto Graham Potter.
No, I think with Potter it's a tough one because obviously any other club, and you say, look, you haven't won in 7, you've lost 6 of those, you'd be saying manager needs to be looked at. But I think in the manner we've lost most of them, apart from the first 3 where we looked really quite dodgy, I think other than that we've created chances, we're still looking at the better team, and I expect us to go to Arsenal and still play relatively well. We probably won't score, but I don't think Potter takes that pressure when you can't physically make Mopé score a penalty against Norwich. That's not Potter's fault. So we've still got that situation. But then I wouldn't be surprised though if we go into the summer, don't sign anyone again, and Potter's left in that situation of, why not just go? Why not just go somewhere I can get the backing and get the funding and get the players that he needs? Yeah. He's clearly the best manager we've ever had in our history. Give him what he needs.
So there's no one can say that the praise for Graham Potter over the years was premature. It seems like he's just in a situation where
I think
hands tied behind his back.
For sure. I think like people get on Potter's back now. The general football scene gets on Potter's back just because it's cool to now. Yeah. Because he's the football hipster. He's a bit different. He's not what people expect. He always comes out with some strange stuff, but he's very good at what he does, and I don't think it will be long before he's snapped up by one of the better clubs. But people they'll just look at a results basis, and whilst that's like right, it's not right. Football's played over 90 minutes. If you could play really well, but if you concede in the last minute, it's all forgotten about. That's the trouble in the life of football. But at the same time, like, I don't think Potter's to blame, particularly for recently.
And what you're doing off the pitch is essentially a lot more important than what's being done on it, because in turn it has a big effect.
Yeah, and as I say, I think that's what will cause Potter to walk if we don't bring in those sort of players to back up the performances, because it's clear we can play good football. Last season, without a doubt, one of the best football insides. This season, probably not so, but I think losing Ben White, as I said, and that it's really had its toll. I'd say, the way we've lost a few games this season, we haven't really looked as good as we were last season. I think it speaks volumes in the fact that we couldn't create chances against some of the sides that we have done. Got ripped apart by Tottenham as well. And Burnley as well, actually 3-0. I forgot about that. There's been some times we've been really ripped apart, and that's what could be sketchy.
It's funny that earlier in the season, Graham Potter still was receiving a lot of praise, and Arteta was still very much under pressure. Coming into this game, we've just lost to Crystal Palace, so the pressure's back on. But before that Palace game, it seemed like Arteta had turned the corner, Arsenal had turned the corner. It seemed like we are fighting for a top 4 position, which not many Arsenal fans and not many football fans overall thought we would be in this position. What's your opinions on Mikel and how he's managed to change a lot of the opinions about him?
I mean, to be fair, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on an Arsenal podcast, I genuinely have rated Arteta for quite a while, and that's not a dodgy opinion. I genuinely have thought he's always going to be quite good. I mean, I think I even said you don't spend that long with Pep and not learn anything. He's clearly knows what he's doing. I think Arsenal have done really well with what you've got as well. I wouldn't say you've probably got one of the strongest squads in the top 6, but you've easily played some of the best football at times. Your attack scares me, but I think defensively it's still there for the taking at times. But I think that speaks for us as well. Our defence is so poor now that it won't take much to unlock it. If you've got Saka on form or Smith Rowe on form, then it's probably your game to lose 100%.
Yeah, I mean, talking defensive, we've just lost Kieran Tierney. And you could see how big a loss Tierney was in that result to Crystal Palace. We've lost him for the season now. Tavares hauled off at half-time, the second game in a row for him that he's been taken off either before the end of the first half or at half-time. So God knows where his confidence is at the moment. So even as an Arsenal fan who's seen this season a lot of clean sheets, a lot of improved defensive performances, this is the business end of the season, and it could all unravel in the next coming week. So hopefully Arsenal can get over that Tierney hump and Tavares comes in and does a job. But we'll see, because off the back of that
Your fans don't rate
result,
Tavares, do they? I'm right in saying that.
It's a funny one, Ryan. Our fans are quite volatile. I think that's the right word. I think if you looked at our opinions of Tavares earlier this season, there was a lot of talk about should Tierney come back into the side when he's back from injury. That's how well Tavares was performing. Now all of a sudden, after those 2 performances, Nottingham Forest and against Crystal Palace, a lot of fans have essentially turned on him.
It's football fans then.
I think he was made a scapegoat on Monday. I think the whole team played poor.
Neil Mopé for us, pretty much.
Yeah, essentially. I think when I look at that Monday performance, the first half especially, I could pick out 3-4 players that, in my opinion, were worse than Tavares. But in the end, whether it was an easy decision for Arteta to take Tavares off, I'm not too sure whether that was the premise behind it. I just think it was unfair on him, but I hope that he starts against Brighton. You look at your goal scoring issues over the last few weeks, I think it's the perfect game to give him another chance, because without Kieran Tierney, if we're not relying on Tavares, it's either Xhaka or Saka, and without Thomas Partey, how can you move Xhaka out of position? When you move Saka out of position, do you essentially wipe out one of your biggest attacking threats? Arteta's got a big job on his hands now in the last 8 games of the season, so it'll be interesting to see how he manoeuvres his way around it. Did you watch the Palace game on Monday?
I did. And I was really wanting us to win because I hate Palace. I'm watching it and I'm just thinking...
You had the boost for Ben White, obviously.
Yeah, that was expected. But what was annoying was I was watching it and I was thinking, if we don't now go to Arsenal and at least get a draw, I'm not going to hear the end of it of Palace fans. It's just going to be following my mentions. But no, to be honest, they've done well, to be fair, Palace. As much as it hurts me to say, they've recruited really well and Vieira's had a good job. But that's the difference. Like if you sign players that are attacking and actually put a bit of intent into it, then that's what happens. You know, with us, we don't sign any forwards that are actually, you know, Elise, for example, what a signing he's been for them.
Yep.
For us, we just don't sign those attacking players, and we sign great midfielders, sign great defenders, but attack-wise, that's what's going to cost us against you. And I think, that's what done you. It was as simple as Palace, Conor Gallagher. There's so much energy in their team, and we don't have that. So whether that'll make a difference against Arsenal, whether we'll play into your hands, probably. We're a lot slower in transition. We don't come at you. We'll be more like passing it around and trying to wear you out, sort of thing. Palace will just outrun you, and that's what they did.
And we've been great at home for the majority of this season. So hopefully that works in our favour. Looking at the game, Brian, do you see a way Brighton can take something from the game?
No. I mean, I am going to the game, so obviously I've been to a few aways this season. They've always been dramatic. You know, I've seen 95th minute and 98th minute, Neil Maupay, he's so good at scoring those late goals. So that's all I can really hope for, but they've all been draws. So that's the thing. Palace was a draw, Southampton was a draw, West Ham was a draw. But those are some of the best memories we've had this season, which probably says a lot. But away from home we're a lot better. So there's that on it, but I think overall I think it'll probably be 2-0 Arsenal, if I'm honest. I just can't see a score at the moment.
Early prediction.
I've jumped the gun, but I just can't see a score at the moment. I don't know. I'm hoping I'm wrong because I don't want to be negative, but I can't see it.
Listen, I don't see that as negative. I mean, you can only base it off how you're feeling at the moment. You can base it off your team's current form and performance. At the end of the day, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. I know the football YouTube world in particular has this whole negative, positive, and divide in it. But it is what it is. When you love someone or something, your emotions go up, your emotions go down. That's part of the game. Before I ask who you're looking at as the key player for Arsenal, I want to ask you, who should Arsenal fans look at over at Brighton as a player to watch out for in the game? The laugh kind of tells me what I need to know.
You can look at midfield if you want. I mean, to be honest, I say that even Bissouma's probably not going to play. He'll probably be on the bench. I'd say Moda's he's going to be out. He has an ACL injury. So Alexis McAllister, he's really stuck out. I really like McAllister. I've got to be honest.
Scored a couple goals this season.
Scored a couple goals, creates a lot. He gets space really well, and that's a sign of a good player in midfield. He's got all the marks of a good number 10. So McAllister to watch out for, probably. Trossard, Maupay. Maupay historically against Arsenal, he loves the goal against Arsenal. He loves the goal in London as well. Scores against Palace, scores against Tottenham.
He'll be looking out for Ty in the crowd.
He just wants that. He loves that, and that's what probably we need. We need a bit of Arsenal fans booing Maupay and Ty coming on and saying, Maupay, you're a disgrace, because that's what we need. We need him to be fired up again, because he missed the penalty. Yeah, it actually is for him. And the trouble is with Maupay, he goes up and down on confidence, and he really feels it when he goes down. And I think he's in that mode at the minute where he's right down. So it's going to be a big decisive one, I think, in that, because I think morale is so low right now that it's as simple as if we lose again, it's going to be 8 games. I mean, a draw would be nice, ideally, just for team morale a bit,
No worry about going there. I believe off the top of my head, you're 13th in the league.
Yeah, I believe
something
so.
Around there.
Yeah. I think we're only 10 points off the drop now, though, because of the result last night with Burnley.
But
I don't think we will go down. I think, I can't see us getting another point this season, if I'm honest. But we've got you lot, we've got City, we've got United as well in there, Leeds, West Ham. There's some tough games. So it is dodgy.
It's a sticky one.
It is dodgy.
You're going to have to see what the other clubs do in and around that relegation battle. Looking at Arsenal then, Ryan, outside looking in, who are you looking at as the threat that you guys need to nullify in order to be able to get something out? Saka, Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, I guess would be the 3 attacking players you're looking at. I think attacking wise is what's going to hurt us. I think the midfield, we should be relatively okay. It'll be interesting to see how we cope against Ben White again, because he was
he was very blunt. I remember when we played you at the Amex, he put on that thing after at full time. He loves putting stuff on his Instagram, doesn't he? He's a bit of an Instagram merchant, but I respect it, to be honest. He put it on and he was just like, and good point on the road or something, full stop, and puts a little black and white screen on his story, and you're a bit like, okay, yeah, you really don't care about us anymore. And to be fair, he got booed, so why not? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we come up against your defence, because as I say, our attack is so poor. But yeah, I think attack's what hurts us with Arsenal. That I look at Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Lacazette even on his day. There's Lacazette always actually scores against us as well, to be fair.
Well, there's a debate whether he starts the game on the weekend after
if you're going off past records, to be fair, against Brighton he's done all right.
There you have it. Ryan saying start Lacazette against Saturday.
I'd always say Aubameyang never scared me. I think I even came on your podcast at the beginning of the season. I said Aubameyang never scares me. I think it's when he was still there, and I stand by it. He never. I don't get me wrong. I thought he was a great player. But he never did it against us, so I never thought, oh no, he's going to score. Whereas with Lacazette, he always seems to turn up, so that's my worry. But I don't know, we'll see.
We will see. Obviously, it's time to get into predictions. You have predicted a 2-0.
Yeah, I don't want to be really downbeat, because as I say, against Norwich, we actually did play quite well, but they are the worst team in the league.
By far.
But we created so many chances, 30 odd shots. I think we've had 101 shots in the last 7 games, scored 1 goal. And 14 of those on target. That's ridiculous. That is actually obscene. So
you can't see past the loss this weekend.
I just can't see how we're going to score. As I say, unless it's Mopé getting right up for it again, that's my bit of hope. McAllister on his day is really good.
And everyone loves playing against Arsenal for some reason.
Yeah, there's a bit of that as well. This run needs to come to an end at some point. Surely we can't get the rest of the season without winning the game. Otherwise, then I will be saying, look, Potter, what's going on here? But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a tough game. So I'll probably stick with 2-0 if I'm honest. I think Saka's got a goal in him. I can just see it already. Yeah,
let's hope so. I'm going to go with 3-0.
3.
Quite a confident, I think that's more hope than belief, because I just need us to bounce back. I need us to bounce back, and the way the goal difference was shredded from Tottenham's 5-1 win against Newcastle, our 3-0 loss to Palace, it's a bit of a problem now. With the top 4 battle being so tight, if it was to come down to goal difference and we wasn't to get it I think that's the worst way to miss out, goal difference to Tottenham.
That's the thing, I think he'll be fired up from Palace. I think, I can't see, as we said earlier, Arteta's obviously a good manager. I can't see him taking a 3-0 loss on the road against Palace and then just thinking, we're going to be right down now. You've got to come back. So you have to come out and win this game.
Something we've shown a few times this season after the first 3 losses. And I mentioned this before, we bounced back. After the losses against Man United, Liverpool and Everton away, we bounced back. After the January transfer window and being knocked out of 2 domestic cups, we bounced back. After the Liverpool loss, we bounced back against Aston Villa, but then the Crystal Palace loss reared its head. So it's another case of, can this young side, and I've got to emphasise young, because this young side has shown an awful lot of maturity so far this season to bounce back, to get back up from being put down. So I'm going to go with a 3-0 and hope they bounce back again. And I want to end it, Ryan, with your opinion of the top 4 battle. Who do you think will get it? Tottenham, Arsenal, or the outsiders United at the moment?
You're going to hate me for saying it, but I just think Tottenham look really good at that.
I hate you, mate. That's it.
I just think they do. I mean, they took us apart at the Amex, and I went to Tottenham away as well, took us apart there. They are pretty good at the minute.
Risk that is clicking.
They've got Conte, he's a winner and he knows what he's doing.
Ever since Conte came out and had that outburst where everyone said it looks like he wants to go, I think they've lost 1 game, and that was to Man United.
Probably a bit of that as well. So I think probably Tottenham, I'm on the wrong podcast to say it, but I think, Arsenal more of the outsider, just purely off quality. They've got Kulusevski and stuff, whereas your players are still young, as you say. You've got a young squad, but a good squad, but I wouldn't say your favourites for a top 4, but definitely not out of the question.
I do prefer chasing than being the favourites as we was last week.
I think Arteta's got it in him to become a favourite in a few years' time. I mean, there's no reason why Arsenal won't be talked about in that, dangerous. But I think at the minute you just got to let him. Whatever comes, I think, is a bit of a bonus at the minute, because I think Arteta knows what he's doing. I think he's getting something right. It's clear that something's working. But I think, as you say, young squad, you've got to just keep building. And I think that will happen.
Gotta keep building.
matter of time.
That's it. Thank you, Ryan. Let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me on TSR Football UK on Instagram, Ryan Adset on Twitter, or on Seagull Social on YouTube. So plenty of spaces we're debating it. But follow up and
I'm gonna put them all in the description below. TSR, Seagull Social. What was the other one?
Just my own Twitter. Ryan
There
Adset.
you go. I'm gonna put all of that in the description below. People, show some love to Ryan. Let us know in the comment section below your predictions for the game. Who would you start up top? Who would you start at left back? Who would you start in place of Thomas Partey? We've got issues all over the park, but as you know, Ryan's alluded to, Brighton have a few issues of their own. Let's hope we get the job done over there. We're both predicting Arsenal wins. Let's hope that becomes a reality. Love for the love, people. Let us know your feelings in the comments. Peace.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.